Mitchell Robinson trade rumors are heating up amidst all of the Karl Anthony Towns drama, all the New York Knicks details going on at the training camp with Mitchell Robinson not being there, still rehabbing his injury, still being on the trade block, and we have to talk about all this. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Knicks Digest live stream, Knicks Digest Happy Hour, as y'all know, episode 2. And we will be having back guest Matt Long as a featured guy on the channel for a little bit. So, guys, let's jump right into it. Mitchell Robinson has been subjected to a bunch of trade rumors essentially ever since the Knicks made the Karl Anthony Towns trade. It's no secret to anyone that the Knicks have wanted to have this 5-out lineup on the team for a good amount of time. This is not something that's been new. The Knicks absolutely want to do this because they want to rival the Boston Celtics. They want to be the anti-Celtics, and the only way for them to go out there and to do that is to make that 5-out lineup. They're not worried that much about the scoring of any big man on the Celtics, specifically Kristaps Porzingis, their starting center, the former Knick, as we all know. And because of that, looking at the New York Knicks, looking at all this drama, it's just feeling more and more likely as the days go by that Mitchell Robinson's time with the New York Knicks is soon going to be up. Now I'm just going to throw in my AirPods very quickly, guys. Because we're about to have a guest come in here, break all this stuff down with us. We're going to discuss. Guys, let's get the comments rolling. We have a nice, good amount of 0 comments, guys. So let's get to chatting. How we doing, guys? It's nice to be back on the live stream with y'all. It's a great time being here, guys, but we got some basketball to talk about. I mean, look, you go to the New York Knicks, if you're Karl Anthony Towns, you understand you're going to be playing more of that center position than you've been playing in a very, very long time. The New York Knicks, the Knicks they're yet to establish what this lineup is. Tom Thibodeau, he's given some hints, though, and I'm going to give you guys a bold prediction right now. Deuce McBride starts game 1 of the season over Josh Hart at the shooting guard position. I genuinely believe the New York Knicks, what up, Carl? I genuinely believe the New York Knicks are going to go out there. They are going to land another piece in the long term when it comes to this season in December and January. I've talked about this a lot. I do think that one of Precious Achiuwa or Mitchell Robinson, if not both of them, are going to get traded off of the team due to the situation at hand. And I just truly do feel like we're going to be seeing more than anything. Please keep Mitchell Robinson. I want the Knicks to keep Mitch. I really think that he's the move for this team. And I think he gives them good rim protection. The fear is that the Knicks don't want to have their one rim protector constantly rehabbing injuries, never being fully healthy, never getting the full advantage of his position being taken. And that's an understandable fear if you are the New York Knicks. There's no way around it. It's that way. Mitch is injury prone. I see how people like to say sometimes, Mitchell Robinson's not an injury prone player at all. Yes, he is. Come on, guys. I understand. I love Mitch. I'm a huge Mitchell Robinson fan. But he's injury prone. The man has been out there, and he's dealt with a lot of different injuries over his career. And because of that, we're going to have to figure this situation out. So I really do think the Knicks are going to end up moving Mitchell Robinson. We got a good amount of people in here. Days Animations, what up? We got 85 people in the chat, guys. We're doing great already. It is so good to talk to you guys again. We're going to make this a consistent thing, but we're just going to talk about the New York Knicks right now. I am going to tell you right now, the Knicks are going to experiment with this starting lineup. They're going to see if they have enough rebounding with a Brunson, Deuce, McHale, OG, Towns lineup. Now, Karl Anthony Towns is a phenomenal rebounder. Towns is an excellent rebounder. And because of that, they're going to see if they need Josh Hart out there or if they don't. Josh Hart is the best rebounder under 6'8" in the NBA. Now, bam, 6'8". Josh Hart's the best rebounder under 6'5" in the NBA. But, guys, it's now time. If we could just welcome Matt Long back into the channel. Matt, it's good to see you here, man. Thank you for being back on the Knicks Digest live stream. Happy hour. Just wouldn't be the same without you, man. How you doing?
Oh, Chris. The Knicks.
Dude, I'm excited to have you here. And look, so guys, here's the thing. Wait, what's the starting five? The starting five, it's Well, the 4 confirmed starters are obviously Brunson, McHale, OG, and Towns. The Knicks are deciding between Josh Hart. They're deciding between Josh Hart and Deuce McBride for that final spot. I do think it is going to be Deuce in a lot of occasions because the Knicks want to be the anti-Celtics. They see that the Celtics are playing Brown and they're playing Tatum at the 4 and the 3, and the Knicks are going to run a smaller lineup also. So we're going to see how that works out. I actually think this is going to go really, really well. What up, toilet cleaners? Oh, it's the man, mournful Nets fan.
Here he is.
Back on the channel.
It wouldn't be the same without him.
It would not be the same without him whatsoever, Matt. I'm gonna ask you a question. If there's a way you could turn up your volume just a tiny little bit, you sound a little quiet coming through.
Really? Is that better?
Is there something on your screen maybe?
No, I don't know.
All right, you just sounded really good right there. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just a little quiet, but we're all good. Nothing major.
All right. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, dude, we're chilling.
All right, Chris. What position are they going to trade Mitchell Robinson for?
I think it is less of what position and what player they're going to trade Mitchell Robinson for. It's no secret the Knicks do have interest in Trey Murphy. That's something that's essentially been confirmed. He's friends with Jalen Brunson, former teammates with Josh Hart. And going into looking at these guys, the Knicks, they want to build a team that they don't necessarily have to use Mikal Bridges as their bench scorer, as a guy who is in the starting lineup. Now, I will tell you one thing that's confirmed with the Knicks rotation. Tom Thibodeau did confirm it. Mikal Bridges is going to be their guy that once Brunson's off the floor, once Towns is off the floor, I think I said once Brunson's off the floor, but once Brunson's off the floor, once Towns is off the floor, they're going to look to Mikal Bridges to be that scorer off the bench. The one thing that this trade did more than anything is it messed with the Knicks' bench scoring. They're going to test out and see if Deuce McBride can give a bit of that Emmanuel Quickley bench scoring spark. They're going to see if they need to decide, like, hey, we're going to start Josh Hart just because he doesn't score more. And it's not even like I guess we need to start Josh Hart. Josh Hart's one of the best role players in basketball. I mean, I think Josh Hart is a very good argument for being the best role player in the NBA.
Yeah. Excuse me. Chris, I love that take for Josh Hart, but we've already seen Deuce McBride can score off the bench effectively. So I have no fears that he's going to be able to step in. And he hasn't been super consistent in the past. He has his really hot nights and then his not so hot nights, but he's going to be with this starting 5, how good the starting 5 is going to be. I'm confident that at Deuce McBride, a little bit extra off the bench and maybe some hot nights and some off nights is going to be more than enough for what the Knicks are going to need.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree because that's the beauty of having a starting lineup where you have 4 guys who can take the ball and score in different ways. I understand some people are going to be like, dude, OG cannot score. Yes, he can. Yes, we can. No. Also, we have 113 people in here, Matt, because everyone loves Matt Long. So, guys, just real quick plug. If you guys like hearing me and Matt hang out, make sure to subscribe to Jets Digest. We're very close to 1,000 subs. But, Matt, also, just to quickly tell you, the reason why I thought you sounded low is because I'm stupid and my volume was turned down low.
Dude, I was going to say, because if my volume's low, we have a massive problem.
This changes everything.
Dude, and what's bad is I didn't have any way to fix it, so I just started talking louder and started pretending like I actually did something.
Nice. I mean, that's... Whenever I'm saying we're having technical difficulties, I have a panic attack because I don't know what we're doing. But people aren't here to hear about technical difficulties.
Yeah,
Matt, the New York Knicks. Ooh, these comments are crazy.
Yeah, I got a comment for you, Chris. Yeah. Curtis Futch wants Walker Kessler still. Do you still want him even though we got Cat?
Absolutely. Dude,
yeah,
I just think the Knicks.
Me too.
I just think the Knicks can tap into what Walker Kessler can bring. And I'll tell you something about the New York Knicks. This is a true thing about them. We know the Knicks keep everything very tight to their chest. They hold their cards close to their chest. They keep everything in-house as long as they can. But here's one thing about the Knicks. When you hear that they've had interest in someone, it means they inquired about that player a couple weeks, maybe even a month back. That is what that means more than anything else. It means they had interest in the player, and then things died down, so they're like, all right, well, who cares if it leaks now? It's common knowledge around the NBA. Let's let everyone know it because then we have the upper hand of knowing when we can control how to release things. That's the beauty of having William Worldwide Wesley, who has connections to everyone. I mean, he was a huge part of the Towns trade, but nobody bigger than Brock Aller, the New York Knicks salary cap expert. It is hard to keep up with these comments right now in the best way possible.
Yeah, no, Chris. So I've seen a lot of articles talk about today how the Jets cheated the salary cap. Did you and how they signed
The
some guys
Knicks,
to
yes.
certain contracts and just were able to get around stuff. Do you agree with those?
I think the Knicks found a loophole. So the deal is, guys, if you're over the first apron, which the New York Knicks were, you cannot aggregate, which just means add on, like to put together, one or more players on a minimum contract. So meaning you can't be like, all right, well we can't re-sign Charlie Brown Jr. Yes, that's his name. We can't re-sign Dwayne Washington Jr. to minimum contracts and trade them to the Hornets. The NBA won't allow that. We're going to be in trouble salary-wise. We have to give out more money for this trade to be legal. So what did the Knicks do? They signed them to $1 above the minimum re-sign. It was a complete loophole in the system. The Knicks found it. Everyone's like, oh, well, they cheated. No, the Knicks read the rules. They read the rules and they flipped it on these people. It was a genius play by the team.
Yeah, it feels good to have a competent front office, doesn't it?
I mean, I've never seen the Knicks have a competent front office outside of the very early Melo years. Like, there was a competent front office then, but that was a good amount of time ago. Like, it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, stay with us. Stay with us.
We're good. So since Leon Rose acquired the team, I'm gonna read you guys, and not read you guys because I know it off the top of my head. I'm gonna tell you guys the starting lineup. Leon Rose's first day as the New York Knicks GM. Elfrid Payton, R.J. Barrett, Maurice Harkless, Julius Randle, Taj Gibson. No matter what you think of that Karl Anthony Towns trade, since then, Jalen Brunson, who's become an NBA superstar, top 10 player in the NBA, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, or Deuce McBride, one of them, either way, great. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns. That is good management. They've been, the New York Knicks, this regime has been here exactly 4.5 years, and I know that because I checked out Brock Aller's LinkedIn account, and yes, I did. And essentially, yeah, that's the deal, guys, is in these 4.5 years, the Knicks have gone from a team straight out the gutter into a team that is now contending for an NBA Finals. It's impressive no matter what way you look at it.
No, Chris, the thing about us getting out of the gutter is there's not only the front office, but there's one player. One player took the Knicks out of the gutter. The free agent who came to the New York Knicks when no one else would. We wanted KD, we wanted Kyrie, but New York, the Knicks weren't what's cool about New York anymore. Julius Randle came to New York, then we trade him away, and it feels like no one cares. And that sucks so much.
Yeah, it's tough to... And it's like, it's so crazy because there's going to be times when Julius plays well and Towns doesn't, and they're going to be like, oh, Julius is so good. There were times when so many fans had completely turned on Julius Randle. When you lose the New York faithful and then get it back, that is so impressive. Just to lose it again one year and then get it back and have it stay there, like, the way that Julius never gave up on the Knicks, even when the fans gave up on him, is something that's very commendable. He was a couple hundred points away from having the 10th most points in Knicks history. It sucks it ended this way, but at the same time, I'm a week now removed from the trade. Matt, it was a week ago, almost exactly at this time, when I said there's going to be a trade within today's sphere, and it's going to probably be Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, and Chris
was right.
What's crazy is that one statement prompted about 45 hate comments about how we're just clickbaiting, how we were making stuff up. We hopped on this live stream and said the Knicks are going to be trading Julius Randle for a player who's worse than Julius Randle, and they were going to need to clear about $9 million in cap space. They traded Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns, who is worse than Randle, and they had to clear $8.8 million in cap space.
I was right.
No, it's
all
not a
those
joke.
Randle trade videos, all those, when everyone was like, he's not getting traded, dude. And I was, it feels good, but also at the same time, I don't want to like hate on the people who watch our videos. But
No.
goodness,
I mean,
these comments are,
no.
Matt, we have 150 viewers right now. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
Chris, the people that were coming to the chat and hating on us, they were not like I have to imagine there were some pretty mean comments. I have to imagine if people were watching your videos every day, they wouldn't say something like what we were reading.
That's a fact.
But the
Shout
point is,
out.
have you seen the Dan Campbell? I just need you to trust me. Like I have a plan for you
Yes.
guys. That's what
Have
we
a
needed
plan.
to do.
I
Yeah.
had to do it.
Oh
I
my
had to do
God.
it. Randall complains too much. Every NBA player complains. Like
Every single one.
Ewing actually might play. Shout out Charlie Nix. What up, man? It's been a minute. You got hella
Yeah,
stuff
Charlie
to
Nick
discuss.
says he has.
Charlie Nix can say whatever he wants.
No, he said he has a
Charlie
lot
Nix-
to say, so I'm excited
yeah.
to see what it is.
Nostalgic Nick, I know he got traded. I was saying a week ago that Randall was going to get traded that day for a player who many fans are going to say is worse than Randall, man. And they were going to have to clear $9 million in cap space after the trade. What happened, dude? I know what I'm doing, man. Nostalgic Nick, what's up? One of the very long time daily Knicks supporters since back when we were in the gutter, like the New York Knicks.
Daily Knicks. That's not even Knicks Digest.
One of
Or
the
you're
Knicks
talking about
Digest. I'm getting my things mixed up. I have a quick
Chris
text
got
to
one
send.
sip of alcohol in him, and just things went off the rails.
Cheers.
Yeah.
It's happy hour, man. I got the Hawaiian
Yeah.
shirt on, so I don't have to put on 6 different Knicks jerseys and get my airways
Well, we're gonna
restricted.
We're gonna make you put on those jerseys later, so get ready for that.
That's on the comments. But all right, guys. So I see some of you asking, what are the Mitch trade rumors? There's been a few. There's rumors that a bunch of different teams are interested in Mitchell Robinson, which makes sense. He's a 26, 27-year-old rim protector, high flyer, best offensive rebounder in basketball. The Grizzlies seemingly are going to have interest. The Pelicans do. The Lakers do. Teams have interest, and Mitch is on a tradable contract. He's only making around $13 million this year. That's very tradable. The New York Knicks know that they might want to make another upgrade for their bench. They have Mitch and they have Precious, who they could trade. Now, there's a few different things you could do about that. Now, if you want to go out there and you want to acquire a different big man, you could add Mitch and Precious if you want and look for a guy like a Jakob Poeltl, though I think Mitch is better than Poeltl. The argument is that Poeltl's healthier. And Jakob Poeltl also went out there and said a lot of interesting things at Media Day, essentially saying, what's the point of trying to win games? We're not even trying. This team's not even supposed to win. What's the point of working hard to winning every game? I don't know if that's a New York attitude. So, I don't know about that guy. I don't know.
We just talked about how the New York media hypes up all the good stuff and tears down all the bad stuff. So
Yeah.
if you come into the New York media and say something like that, you might get traded 3 days later.
Yeah, like it is. Look, it's hard here. It's hard to be a New York athlete. Some people just cannot handle the pressure of it. I've seen people be afraid of Karl Anthony Towns not being able to handle the pressure of it. I think he's going to turn a lot of heads with the Knicks. I obviously made a video on it and was very upset with the trade, calling him soft and all that, and I did feel bad about it because I was like, obviously he's not going to watch it, but like he doesn't need people out there saying all that about him. Though I know that Knicks fans will completely disagree with me saying that, like, say what you got to say. I'm obviously going to root for Towns every step of the way. I do, in theory, the more this trade, the farther removed we get from it, the more I think this trade makes so much sense. There's always the fear of, like, the Knicks were great. Like, Brunson, Mikhail, OG, Julius, Mitch, awesome starting lineup. It's not the most shooting on that lineup. Shooting is the name of the game. There's ways with that lineup to force Julius Randle to shoot threes. Now you can't go into drop coverage if Towns is playing center and you have Mikhail and OG in the corners and Deuce McBride spotting up on the weak side wing. And then you have Towns popping out off a Brunson screen. You can't double anyone because they'll just kick it to an open shooter. You can't play drop coverage or Towns is just going to murder you in the three-pointer in the mid-range area. You can't really switch. You're going to get a little guy on Towns, or you're going to get Brunson with a mismatch against a big, and he's just going to take him for a dance. Like, there's so many ways that this Knicks team improves their offense, and I will say, Karl Anthony Towns' defense has gotten underrated. It's not good. I'm not saying Karl Anthony Towns is a good defender. He's better than what people think. He's not the same cone he was a few years ago. He's improved. And the Knicks went out there. They hired Mark Bryant, who's one of the best big man coaches in basketball. I understand Towns is not young in the NBA. He's entering year 10. He's halfway through the career. But looking at Towns, like most players who are in their 20s, there's always going to be an area that he could improve on. The Knicks preach defense. Tom Thibodeau was okay with this trade. They would not have done it if Tibbs didn't give them the green light on his end also. Him and Leon Rose are too close for that, for Leon to force someone into a Tibbs system that he doesn't think is going to fit. Leon understands what he's doing, and he's connected with Tibbs. Him and William Wesley are connected. They're all making these decisions together. Remember, Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to coach a rebuilding team. So what did the Knicks do? They went out there, and somehow, some way, they figured out how to become a win-now team in, 2 years, which is so impressive. They clearly knew Jalen Brunson had another ceiling to him. They clearly understood that they had a lot of assets to work with, and they did a phenomenal job going out there and getting all this done. The way they acquired picks, the way they cashed those picks in for two players who really do fit perfectly on this team in Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, looking at it, you gave up 5 draft picks. You gave up six, kind of the Towns one. You gave up 6 first-round draft picks. One of them in the Pistons one is going to become second-round picks because the Pistons are not going to convey that because the projections keep getting higher and higher to where the Pistons are not going to be a top they're going to be a top 18 pick the next few years. So it's going to be second-round picks anyway. So you traded Julius, 5 seconds, 5 firsts, and DiVincenzo for Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns. I'm sorry, that's a win. I'm sorry it is. I get Julius is great. He was going to ask for a bigger contract extension, what the Knicks wanted to give, and what financially worked for the Knicks, meaning he was going to test free agency. What if he left? People are forgetting Julius wasn't just going to stick around with the Knicks because, well, he played there before. Who saw Paul George going to the Clippers and being like, I'm home. Why would I ever leave? I'm in LA. Why would I go anywhere? Even if we're not that good, I'm with my buddy Kawhi. I'm with James Harden, who's my friend. I'm with Russ, who's my friend. We were terrific together. Why would I go anywhere? Why would I leave when I'm in my home? Also, I'm going to go to Philly now. Bye. It makes no sense, to bank on that home cooking is going to help Julius Randle. No player says in an interview, yeah, so obviously you got free agency impending. What is there any thought process to what there's going to be? Yeah, I think I'm actually just going to leave. I'm going to entertain other options, then decide I'm going to bounce. No, that's not going to happen. That's not how basketball works. That's not how the media works. That's not how answering the media works. The Knicks are never going to be a team that does that. It's just not what's going to happen, Matt. It's not going to. People, including me, specifically me, overreacted to the trade. Looking back on it, and obviously I'm always going to be biased for the Knicks. I hate the saying, but it is what's on the front of the jersey in a way. In a way, it is in the sense of, I'm not just going to become a Timberwolves fan because Julius and DiVincenzo went there. I don't care if Brunson got traded. Obviously, Brunson's never getting traded. Don't click off the video for that. But I'm just saying, whenever the Knicks did something stupid, and all of us have been Knicks fans long enough to see them do something stupid, considering the Knicks have been doing stupid things since 2020, or, well, not since 2020, but up until 2020, I should say.
Yeah. Chris, just like you, it was Friday night it went down. The sky was falling. I was just sitting there. You know that one meme of that dude from The Boys is just sitting there straight face with the explosions going on?
Yes.
Or yeah, pretty much. That's how I felt because we just traded away a player that I thought was worse than Karl Anthony Towns and a beloved role player. But if DiVincenzo really wasn't into the Nova Boys thing and Julius Randle was just going to leave, isn't 4 years of Karl Anthony Towns better than that? And also...
yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So I'm looking at what everyone's saying in the media, and what I was afraid about is everyone's talking about what you said, all the shooters on offense and how special it's going to be for the offense, and no one said anything about the defense. And that scared me a lot, seeing how the Knicks have been a team predicated on their defense recently. So that scared me. But then one day went by, another day went by, and I'm watching some Karl Anthony Towns highlights. I'm thinking, if he can do this on offense, I don't even know how many points the team can score on offense. And we know that even if our rim protection gets worse, the defense is still going to be tough to get through. So the offense is going to be a lot of fun. So I'm actually starting to get very excited for Karl Anthony Towns now.
So am I, and I think Ian Begley put a really good point on this, and this had nothing to do with the Towns trade, honestly. This was just a separate point that he talked about in the past. He said it perfectly as the sirens come in the background, because that means other teams are going to jail still, despite the fact that Towns is not the greatest defender. As Begley has said before on one of his mailbags, well, you got OG and Mikal Bridges. How much rim protection do you need when players aren't getting to the rim that often? It's a perfect way to say it. And also something else that he highlighted, there's only so many offensively skilled big men in the Eastern Conference that are just going to light Towns up. Yes, Joel Embiid is the best scorer in basketball. He's a phenomenal player. There's no way around it. On one knee, he gave the Knicks the business. The only guy who had any ability to stop him was Mitchell Robinson. Shout out the Block Nest Monster, which is just an awesome nickname. And I know. Because Mitch was stopping him. So he got upset and was like, well, guess I'll injure him.
Yeah.
It's so absurd that actually happened and that Mitch is now out till January because of that injury. And there were fears from the same source that I got the trade. There were fears that Mitch's career was over at first. Yeah.
Wow.
There were fears that Mitch had a career-ending injury.
Wow.
A career-ending injury from Joel.
Do we know what the actual doctor's, prognosis was?
So it comes, I don't. No, I don't have that. I could tell you that it comes from the same stress fracture because he came back early to try to help the Knicks in the playoffs. That's why the Knicks are keeping him out till he's fully 100% again, which makes sense. Yes, you guys do. There is so much going on in these comments.
No, so someone said, I think Mournful Nets fan said trade Mitchell Robinson for Brandon Ingram. And then
Trade doesn't work financially.
Yeah, Zero is disagreeing with him and saying we don't need him.
Charlie wants me to put all the jerseys on.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'd say Charlie Nix wants you to get the jerseys on again.
Jay Heisler, my guy. Yo, Jay Heisler, as you've been saying, Towns day one starter. He kept saying Sims is going to be the day one starter, then the trade happened. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
Love Jay Heisler. Sims is still going to in the same. Jericho Sims, to answer this question very quickly. Okay, so here's the deal with Jericho Sims. They like him as a situational backup, which is a fancy way of saying a third string. He's going to stay in that role. He's making $2 million. They're not going to move him unless they absolutely have to for financial reasons, which is like they need to cut some cap space or add something on to Precious Achiuwa with $6 million. I have I really think there's no chance that Sims gets moved at all. I think there's a 0% chance. Chris doesn't like the Knicks. Mournful Nets fan, you commented on one of my videos that you were taking a bath the other day.
All right. Chris, we have 240 viewers right now. So what are we thinking about every 10 more on top of this, you put a jersey on? So 250, you put on a jersey, 260, 2 jerseys, 273 jerseys.
Okay, I don't see that happening, so I think I'll agree to these terms.
You
Jay
agree to
Bishman
this?
I will, because I don't think we're gonna get that high.
Well, we're at 260s. That's 2 actually.
Where? It says 240 on my. Matt, we're checking the stats. We're checking the
I'm
stats.
264. So that's 2
I am
jerseys.
not. Look, they're getting a behind the scenes look at all this too. While I just fumble
that's
through.
That's 2 jerseys, Chris.
Okay, Matt. Matt, tell me about your favorite moment as a Knicks fan. Last season.
From last season? Oh, I thought you were going to ask of all time and say Linsanity. Last season, it has to be sending the Philadelphia 76ers home, Chris, because Embiid, he made us hate him so much because injuring Robinson, pushing all of our players around, and also just playing well was super frustrating to see. That was easily the best moment. But unfortunately, what followed the best moment of the entire year was the worst moment where we knew we can compete with the Indiana Pacers, but it just didn't matter because we didn't have the guys. We just didn't have the horses to run with them because they like to play that super high pace offense, and we didn't have enough players to keep up with them. And look at those jerseys, Chris.
RJ and Melo, my 2 favorite Knicks of all time at this very moment. Yes, Brunson will take over RJ. He won't take over Melo.
No, I can't see. Knowing you for as long as I've known you, I can't see anyone taking over Melo for you.
Well, Matt, we met yesterday, so. Imagine I was just lying about saying that you were my college roommate.
That would be insane.
We never met. It'd be a good bit. Trade Robinson and McBride to the Pelicans for BI. It doesn't work. BI makes too much money. Towns will play with a point to prove. I agree. I think Towns is going to come in here and be like, y'all traded me, Minnesota? I was happy here. I liked it. And now you're trading me? You're trading me to my home? I don't think so. Now, ESPN has predicted that the Knicks win half more of a game after this. Their win projection before the Towns trade, I can't speak right now. Their win projection before the Towns trade was 44.9. Now it's 45.4. Mitch is always hurt. He's a liability at the line. He has to go. That's why the Knicks want to trade him, is the injury thing. They don't really care. Matt starting for the Knicks. Matt, I need your auto ASAP. I don't exactly know what that means, Charlie Knicks, but I'm just going to
Does he mean autograph?
Maybe. Yes, he does.
At first, I read that too, and I didn't say anything because I didn't know what it meant.
Guys, I'm not... All right, to Zero, who said the Cat is injury prone, dude, he had a 31-game season. That's why he's missed the same amount of games as Mitch over the last 2 years. He had a 31-game season because he had a long-term injury that he came back from and was fine. Sometimes people get hurt. I don't think Towns is injury prone, not to the degree that other people have been, such as Mitch and OG Anunoby. I'm the only dude on your channel that beat the drum with DiVincenzo is not good. Jay Bishman, I will say, I can actually confirm that you did say that DiVincenzo was not going to be thrown off the bench when I kept saying he was a sixth man. You were adamant that I was not right about him being the sixth man. So shout out to Jay Bishman, another longtime fan. Quentin Gilliam. It's not like Julius was Draymond. Yeah, Julius is better than Draymond. He could score the basketball. We don't need Ingram. No, we don't. It actually would make you guys contenders. We're way better without Ingram right now, honestly. It doesn't make sense. Where would he play? Ewing is the game one starter at the 5. Crazy Mitch is staying with us. McBride, too. Nick's not losing. They're definitely not trading McBride. McBride is on the best contract, the best value contract in the NBA outside of Jalen Brunson. I genuinely believe. I mean, he's making $2 million. Like, little over $2 million this season. He's on a depreciating contract that he signed a 3-year, like $10 million deal or $11 million deal. It was an absolute steal for the Knicks.
Now, but Chris, think about guards. The rookie second-round pick, Adam Marquette, Tyler Kolek. Do you think he's going to see real minutes this year?
Tyler Kolek?
Yeah.
Tibbs does not like to play rookies, so Kolek would have to play himself into that position. Now, Tyler Kolek is 23. He's not a young guy. He's not Pacome Dadier, who's 19. Tyler Kolek is ready to ball. He looked phenomenal in Summer League. He was the best player in Summer League. And I would like to see Kolek get minutes, but I'm biased towards him because 2 of my best friends went to Marquette, and one of them routinely would hang out with him at bars when they'd see each other. And it's funny because my friend's like, you know him. My friend who I'm talking about, who's 6 foot, 10 million. And like, so he was just a head over Tyler Kolek, but yeah, that was funny. 269, nice. D'Lo would cook Brunson. Funny. Bro, you guys don't know basketball. Minnesota also struggled in the playoffs with legit one playmaker Ant for Cat to get open look. Cat's not a playmaker. Knicks starting 5 also got one good playmaker. The Knicks don't need a bunch of passing outside of Jalen Brunson, though. Like, they don't need that much. Jalen Brunson's a phenomenal passer. We're going to see him average more of like a 25 and 9 stat line than a 28 and 6. He's going to be dishing the ball a lot. Brunson's going to be game planned for a lot more. He's just going to keep kicking it to the corners. This Knicks team is going to shoot so many corner threes. I guarantee the Knicks are going to be in the top 3 in corner threes attempted and probably top 5 in corner 3 percentage this season. It's this is a team. What's up?
Yeah, the 3-point shooting is going to be beautiful. But Chris, you think that Mitch, Sims, 3 second-round picks for Herb Jones, do the Pelicans take that?
There's a better chance that I put on the rest of these jerseys in this room than Pelicans.
I'm funny you say that because we're at 270, which means you have to put another jersey on, Chris. I really want to see if that John Starks fits. Dude, we're at 277. You might have to just grab 2 just in case you need a second one.
This is from when I was 15.
Let's see it. The people want to see more jerseys, Chris. This is no longer the Knicks happy hour. This is the Knicks jersey hour.
Suffocate Chris via jersey.
Oh my goodness. All right, Chris.
I got a bone to pick real quick.
Yeah, what's your bone? What do you got, Chris?
Why would someone change their number after Summer League, Matt? Why would someone do such a thing?
It's because they don't like the number they have. So, because for some reason the number he wanted wasn't available. Like, if you follow football, Malik Neighbors was given number 9 for the preseason, but number 9 already belonged to the Giants kicker, so he had to switch it after preseason. So, oh, look at that. Is that a custom Kevin Durant's Knicks jersey?
It's a Pacome Dadier jersey because he was number 35, and now he switched his number to 4. So now I'm really the only person with this jersey.
Hey, I have
Guys,
a custom.
everyone tune in. Oh, let's go 256.
Oh, you can take them off? Is that the rule? You know what? I'll give that to you. I'll give that to you, Chris.
Sweating bullets.
All right.
I'm done with this. I'm done with these jerseys.
The people want to see jerseys, Chris.
I will keep. Who has said this?
Charlie Nix said he wants jerseys.
Charlie Nix, you know what, man? Can Ewing get a contract for at least a year? Technically, yes. The Knicks could sign Patrick Ewing to a contract if they wanted to sign Patrick Ewing to a contract. Like, it's legally allowed for them, and we're at 291. I'm not putting more jerseys on. I'm literally sweating. I'm sweating. I'm
Chris,
not
go
doing
buy another jersey and put it on.
I have
That's
8
what the people
jerseys. I
want.
could keep going. Counting baseball and football, I have like
I mean,
13.
Dude, that sounds actually horrific.
Yeah, I would
I might have
suffocate.
set the stakes too low for these jerseys.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
for
not
next
putting
Knicks
on
happy
more.
hour, there needs to be a standing way for you to put on more jerseys. 'Cause
Matt,
this is a
I'm
staple.
sticking with the RJ Barrett jersey because it makes me look buff. It's why when I was single and we'd go out in college, I'd wear this one. And your Kawhi jersey.
Dude, that Kawhi jersey was so sick. I had to make
It
a
was.
custom order, the OVO version.
Yeah,
the black one.
That was a great Kawhi jersey.
great purchase.
And people do love hearing what the jerseys you have. Chris and Matt want a bed together. If only you know. No, I'm kidding.
Who said that?
Mournful Nets fan.
Yeah, of course.
I read your comment, Mournful. Last live going from 20 to 300 is fire. Congrats. Thank you, Charlie Nixon. Hey, you've been here since it was 6 people on live. From Charlie Nix was on my first live stream. He was on everyone after that. It is great when the live streams do well like this. It makes it more fun. It is a good feeling. I'm not going to lie.
Nah, Chris, when Charlie Nix,
We're gonna
what
get a
I'm hearing
call-in
Charlie
show
Nix is a hardcore viewer. So when he asks for a jersey, you got to put a jersey on. Right now, he's not asking. But when
Good.
he asks,
Charlie Nix, if you do ask, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say
all right,
no.
all right.
Road
Let's bring it back,
jerseys.
Chris. Who won the trade? Just quickly, one
Yeah.
team, one reason. Who won the trade? Knicks or the Timberwolves?
Knicks, because the Timberwolves killed their spacing. Absolutely murdered their spacing.
I agree. I don't understand.
I don't get
DiVincenzo
the
can
move
help
for
every
them.
team in the league because every team needs shooting.
Yeah.
With Julius Randle, I don't understand why they want Randle and Gobert on the same team. Because they
Julius is
both
a particular
can't shoot
player.
well.
Like, that's the thing. He's great, don't get me wrong, but he's particular. Like, Julius has certain amounts of needs,
Yeah,
and
what
this team doesn't fit that.
what contender right now does fit those needs, Chris?
To call him a contender is a stretch, but the Warriors.
Yeah, because they need physicality. And
They
that's
need
Julius Randle's got
physicality, and they
plenty of
need a
that.
guy who could score the basketball consistently, not named Steph Curry. Especially when
Yeah.
your backcourt is Steph Curry and Buddy Hield. You foregoed the fact that you're going to play defense. You're not going to be a good team on defense. So you might as well just go full all in on offense and decide, hey, let's just do this. Let's go out here and let's sign or let's trade for Julius. We have the Wiggins contract. We have other things we could do. We could give draft picks. The Timberwolves could then use that Wiggins contract and said draft picks and the Knicks draft pick to go out there and trade for a player who fits their need more than Julius Randle does. I think that makes a ton of sense. But the Timberwolves like Julius. They like his energy. They like that Julius has that, dare I say, Mamba mentality. Of Julius is win. If we don't win, I'm going to lose my mind. And I'm not blaming other people. I'm going to blame it all on myself for not being better. Julius is a competitive lunatic in a similar way that many great all-time players are. And it's helpful to have a guy like that who's been into in his NBA career for a while, who's been on good teams, who's been on bad teams, who's played with legends like Julius Randle. Like Julius Randle has done all that. I'm not going to call him a legend, though. He's great NBA player. Good chance he makes the Hall of Fame, low key, eventually. But basketball Hall of Fame's easy. But it's
I was
like
gonna say it's too easy to make.
it is too easy to make. It's like baseball's hard. Lakers, Hawks, Bulls. Well, the Bulls would not want to get anyone who's good. The Hawks fit beautifully with Randall, especially if they get rid of Capella, because then Okongwu is a good mid-range shooter, so it does open up a little bit more. Randall and Gobert. Yeah, Randall and Gobert in the front court is brutal.
You know, Chris, I think the Bulls would love Julius Randle because they love being right in the middle of the pack. They don't want to compete and they don't want to tank. So he would be perfect for them.
Ewing would break the apron for a vet minimum.
They
Bring
would put
Ewing
the
in
Knicks
as a
into the
backup center.
fourth
Guys,
apron.
Patrick Ewing's 60 years old. Like, I don't think you understand how little he could probably run. Like, he's 60. He's a heavy fella. Like, he's
He'll cherry pick.
he could just cherry pick. Road jerseys, absolutely. Herb Jones, wrap it up. Yeah, like if the Knicks got Herb Jones, then yeah, like they're the best team in the league. But they're not getting Herb Jones. Knicks won. Getting Patrick Ewing back is going to be cool, Towns, especially because Towns is the best offensive center the Knicks have had since Patrick Ewing. Like, the other argument's Amari Stoudemire, but the versatility of Towns makes me feel differently. But Minnesota have Devo. Does that make up for the spacing that they gave up? DiVincenzo's not starting there, dude. Like, They got Conley, Edwards, McDaniels, Randall, Gobert. It makes more sense to trade Julius and keep Dante and have Conley, DiVincenzo, Edwards, and be a little small and have McDaniels and Gobert. Like, yeah, it's some small ball, but you still have McDaniels, who's an elite defender. Dante DiVincenzo's a very good defender. Like, they have moments. They have guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing Cat has no friends on the Knicks and he's pissed, but Cat seems like a friendly guy. I don't think it's gonna be a problem because Cat's a friendly guy. He grew up in the area, so that's not gonna be a problem at all. He's gonna make friends easily.
Well,
I think
Matt, here's a funny story.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Mournful Nets fan just found my Instagram account.
Oh,
This is precisely why I don't say like other people's names on my live stream, because I just do not want them to find them. I don't care if I get found. It's them.
Well, I mean,
Chris,
you do have Knicks Digest in the title.
Yeah, dude, it's easy to find me. Like, and I don't care. I'll accept his follow request. I don't care. But yeah, think about it. With Patrick shooting, almost forced him into the 4. It's Brunson's team, no matter what Cat says. Well, Cat has said it's Brunson's team. Cat runs Tibbs. I think everyone else who's seeing this, Cat and Brunson not getting along, I'm hearing Cat say it's his team. Now, that didn't happen. Cat said when he was asked about being home in MSG, being back at his home, he's like, it's our home. It's our home. Like, Karl-Anthony Towns, by all means, is a great teammate. People like him. The only guy who didn't was Jimmy Butler, and everyone's grown up since that situation. And I think there's a lot more to that. Tom Thibodeau's a different coach than he was in Minnesota. He's adapted to modern basketball. He's a much different coach. He's better now than he was then. So it's just one of those situations where, like, it didn't work last time around, but they've adapted. And is about to be saying, we got Julius Randle. Except right now. I'm on a live stream, man. Cat has ego with Ant, Minnesota. Well, there's a difference between Anthony Edwards, who's a loud, vibrant type of dude, and I'm not saying that negatively. I think it's awesome that Anthony Edwards is the way that he is, and he's vibrant, and he's getting into stuff, and he's great for the media. He's great. He's a great face for basketball.
He's going to be one of the faces of the NBA in the next 2 or 3 years. Here.
Absolutely, and it's awesome for Minnesota. Minnesota has an awesome fan base. They deserve that. But it's one of these situations where it's like, Towns is a more low-key guy. He's now on a team where Jalen Brunson's not going out there giving interesting media interviews. The only thing interesting happening in Nick's press conference is Josh Hart's always eating. Like, and then Brunson's making fun of him. It's fun friend-type stuff. Cat fits on this team. And looking at it, October 22nd, Knicks' first game of the season. Matt, I'm so excited for this Knicks season. Hey, in 2 days, we get some preseason action. We'll see a bit of Towns. We'll see a bit of Brunson, probably 10, 12, 15 minutes at most for all of them. Hey, we're going to see Ariel Huckporty.
With Tibbs, you never know. He might just run Brunson 42.
Imagine. That is a fun stigma that people do like to bring up still. It's like,
it's not entirely wrong. But Ariel Huckporty, you excited to see him tomorrow, Chris?
I'm excited to see Ariel Huckporty because I think he has a lot of potential, and I don't know if the guy's in the chat now. I think he'd be responding. But there is a guy who comes onto our lives and is very pro Huckporty. I just can't say the name Ariel Huckporty and not think Dariel Huckporty, and shout out to Dariel. I'm going to get him on here. He's going to replace you one of these weeks. We're going to have Dariel come on because it's his channel. It's not yours.
It is.
It's my channel, but it's also Dariel's.
It's Tom Thibodeau's channel.
Where all these people come from, Mavericks. It's Mavericks Digest. It's the man. All right, so guys, Matt actually has to go do something for a few minutes, and by that I mean I don't have Zoom Premium, so we're gonna be back with me for just a few seconds, and then we're gonna get Matt back on here in just a few minutes. But quickly, I have a message to give out because Mavericks Digest is in the chat, guys. Follow Mavericks Digest. Marcel Martin is an excellent host who's quite funny and is an awesome Mavericks fan and has really killed me on subscribers and is now asking where all these people come from. Marcel, I am the GOAT, man. That is why. Guys, Marcel's a legend. Shout out to Marcel. We're going to have him on one of these weeks also. We're going to have Marcel on Knicks Digest Happy Hour. It's a good time. It's a lot of fun. But guys, Chris, are you at a restaurant in the profile pic on Instagram? I am at a restaurant, I think. I don't remember my Instagram profile picture because I check Instagram once a day, and this is not what it's about. I need Cat in my life. Ariel Huckporty is getting to be too hyped up on. That's the thing. Ariel Huckporty was the last pick in the draft, and we're acting like he's the second coming. Like, I get that he's great. I'm really excited to have Ariel Huckporty on the team. But it is one of these situations where, like, hey, he's still just this guy who was the last pick in the draft. If he was so much better, he would have been picked by now. So it is interesting to see. I do think Ariel Hukporti is going to have a much better season than a lot of people are believing he's going to have, and I think that stems from the fact that the man was NBA ready 2 years ago before he ruptured his Achilles. If Hukporti doesn't rupture his Achilles, he's a first-round pick in the 2021 NBA draft, but he ruptured his Achilles, and since that happened to Hukporti, it did change things. But guys, after that little message about Ariel Hukporti and Mavericks Digest, the man's back. Matt Long back in the chat. Matt, thank you for coming on to Knicks Digest once again. Super fun having you here, man. So we're going to keep things going. Mitch replacement. Who are they trading Mitch for? We could talk about this stuff right now. Here's the thing. I'm still waiting for the OG trade to prove to me it was a good trade. The Knicks win-loss record. That's what it is. That's how you prove that OG was a good trade. It's pretty simple. I think when it comes to Mitchell Robinson, and we'll talk about the OG trade in a bit more, but with Mitchell Robinson, they know that if they trade him, they're going to be needing rim protection. They're going to be in need of rim protection. So they're either going to trade him for someone who they can get some sort of draft pick back in return, so they could flip that draft pick along with that Wizards pick and Precious for Walker Kessler, which I would love to see. I'm also fine with Mitch saying it just appears that Leon Rose understands Mitch is the last guy from the regime that wasn't him, from the Steve Mills, Scott Perry regime. Seems like that they want to trade that. But, Matt, I need you to now explain what your favorite moment in Knicks history was, because I have to just get out of the shot for a second.
I don't even want to know what you're doing right now, Chris. Definitely my favorite Knicks moment, Jeremy Lin Sanity. I remember I went to a bakery on Long Island, and they had these cookies with pictures printed out. They were edible pictures printed out of Jeremy Lin on the cookies, but my mom didn't let me get them because they were bad for me, and that made me so sad. So that was an unfortunate happening. But Linsanity was so much fun. Obviously, everyone in it wearing a Knicks jersey loves Jeremy Lin, knows the impact he had on the team, on the city. So we love that. Also, but OG Anunoby, Chris, was the number 18-2 or 17-2 in the first 20 games of Anunoby?
Sorry, what was the record?
OG Anunoby, when we first traded for OG, with all 5 of our starters, they went on a crazy run. It was like 18-2 or 17-3.
They lost 2 games in January. One of them was just a straight up loss. The other one was to the Orlando Magic. They lost, I believe, by 4 points because they missed the game tying shot. Jalen Brunson was not playing that game due to an injury. They had 1 loss with that core. That's what is kind of worrisome about the trade. Like, you had something that was working. We had a good thing, and you got rid of it. You and your pride.
No, but Chris, how can you even say you're not fully sold on that trade yet?
Oh, I'm so in on it.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that comment at all.
It was a beautiful trade that worked for both sides. That's the thing. Like the Raptors, it's a perfect trade for them. You got a franchise point guard in Emmanuel Quickley, who was crazy potential. Shout out my guy Manny.
I love that trade for both sides. Definitely. They got 2
RJ
starters.
Gets to go home. Yeah, they got 2 starters. The Knicks got a starter who, as of today, is still the player who impacts winning the most.
No, that's how it works, because we were the team that needed the 1 really good player, and they needed 2 not as good but still good players. So I really feel like if we have any Raptors fans in the comments right now, I would love to hear a Raptors fan's perspective on this to see if they're happy with that trade or not.
Well, I don't know if Mavericks Digest Marcel Martin is still in the chat, but if Marcel's watching, he's not a Raptors fan, but he did some work for Raptors Digest, so I think he could give some good analysis on this. If not, the man Ben Rogers from Raptors Digest can obviously do that too. But he said no when I invited him on. So what are you gonna do? That's not true. That's not true at all. I was gonna say
there's 0 chance you would ever do that. No, we have to. We can do that, Chris. If it's like a Knicks happy hour on a Friday where they're about to play the Raptors, either on like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
We'll get the 3 screen going.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk over both of you guys.
Do it. You and your Jets. Just start talking about the Jets. But yeah, all right. Chris got his Cabana shirt on, ready to catch a cruise after the live. I mean, look, I'm in a shirt that says I got divorced in 2021, and I was, how old were we in 2021? 19? 20?
19? I mean, if you shaved your beard in 2021, you probably look like you were 13.
I can shave my beard right now and look like I'm 15.
Yeah.
That's why I don't. Matt, dude, Nostalgic Nick is hyped to see you, dude.
Really?
Chris, give me Mod, or else you want Ben Simmons for Brunson. I can't do that on my phone, so I'd have to go onto my computer, and then Matt's screen gets screwed up. And
I don't want to
maybe I
go
will one of
again.
these days. Mournful.
I already had to leave.
Matt, Precious Achua definitely getting traded. I like him, but he's a valuable trade piece. Yeah, he's on a 1-year contract. He's got potential. Teams can decide if they want to keep him or not. They can dictate their own contract with him. Precious waived his no trade clause to get a few extra mil added on to his salary. This screams they're trading him in my mind. And OG is playing power forward. Well, yeah, but forward is the same position nowadays. It's basically the same thing as wing. There's only so many positions in basketball. OG is injury prone. Stay healthy when we need him. Same for Cat. I don't count Cat as injury prone. OG, yes. Mitch, yes. I think they're the two injury prone players on the Knicks. The straight up loss was to the Mavs without Luka. The other was on MLK Day to the Magic without Brunson. That's absolutely correct. They did lose to Kyrie, who just had one of those Kyrie games. And when he gets going,
remember
he's
that one.
completely unstoppable. Chris wants Ben. Whoa.
Whoa.
Bro, 7-1. I've never seen anyone talk so much. Cat and OG not playing 82 games, prepare to struggle when they go down. Who is playing 82 games outside of McHale? No one. No one plays 82 games in a season. I don't want them to.
No, Chris.
Randall always. Oh, I guess this guy's a Timberwolves fan, which is sick. Like, congrats.
Yeah, no, Chris.
Good team.
Tibbs' plan is always he plays the regular season with the same intensity as the playoffs, and that definitely helped the Knicks a lot when it came playoff time, and they were beating up on people. But this year it's different because the Knicks from the start are expected to be a top 3, top 2 team in the East. So I think Tibbs is we're gonna see minutes scaled back on everyone all the way across the board, and hopefully we can be more healthy going into the playoffs this time.
Yeah, I mean, last year it was so much bad luck. Like, Randall happens to fall and dislocate his shoulder. You can't attribute that to being injury prone. Josh Hart gets his abdomen hurt. There were just so many unfortunate injuries, the same way that it's unfortunate that I'm looking at my window right now. It's not even 7 and it's dark out. But salute to Marcin Gortat. You did well calling those Raptors scrubs. Okay, don't really know what that means, bro. 718. 718 has got to be Kendra or Kaiden. I hope it's not Kaiden Randall, man. Dude, Kaiden Randall seems like the
I was thinking, is that what he means? But I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he means Randall's wife or kid, but they're not just gonna go out there and start hating on the Knicks. They both. Kaiden, I saw a report that Kaiden was really sad about leaving the Knicks, and I'm like, that fucking.
I mean, we know he had to be a Knicks fan because we know he hated the Nets. You remember that clip?
Yeah, he's like, I hate them.
I hate those.
Yeah, poor Kaiden, man. He didn't.
Yeah.
Kaiden did deserve to grow up in New York. That kid was such a little New Yorker.
Yeah, but Chris, the thing is, do you think Julius Randle's going to move his family this season?
Yes, they did.
You think? Because they already moved?
They moved.
Okay, because
they'll probably keep the apartment. They got money.
If he's only going to Minnesota for 1 year, does it make sense to buy a nice house out in Minnesota? Like, because he's just going to move again.
I imagine he'll talk to his agent, and his agent will talk to some realtors, and they'll figure that one out. I don't know if Julius Randle's updated on his real estate right now. Maybe he is. I can't say. Also, it's very common for NBA players to not buy houses if they're on teams for a short amount of time. Like, JJ Redick, he lived with Josh Hart for a while when JJ went to the Pelicans because he knew he was towards the end of his career. Josh Hart, when he got traded to the Trailblazers and Larry Nance got traded from the Trailblazers to the Pelicans, Josh Hart and Larry Nance, they didn't sell and buy houses. They just literally agreed to trade houses. They're like, all right, yeah. I live there, you live there, we're friends from the Lakers. Let's not make this more complicated than it has to be. Easy money. Yeah,
dude, but Chris, thinking about JJ Redick, it's actually insane that he's the head coach of the Lakers now. Dude. Like, how did that even happen? Like, I get he's a really smart guy, but are we confident that this guy can be a high-level head coach?
Yes. His first interview wasn't with the Lakers. This was not his first go-around. When the Raptors hired head coach Darko Rajakovic, JJ was in the running for that job. He applied, went on to Indeed, obviously, where one goes to apply to become a head coach. No, he did. He got offered an interview for the head coaching thing. He took it. He was really interested in the Raptors job. Didn't get it. Team went with Rajakovic. Seemingly, Raptors fans like Darko Rajakovic as a head coach. I'd be lying if I said I knew much about Darko. Seems like he's doing a decent job. Masai Ujiri's done a phenomenal job in making a very young team around Scotty Barnes. I'm still not sold on the RJ Barnes fit, but RJ's shooting a lot better on the Raptors because he's getting more spacing. The game's easier for RJ when there's not 3 lefties on the floor who want to drive.
It's a better spot for him. That's why we were talking about how it was a win-win for both sides.
Same with
because
IQ.
RJ, he really needed that. Even at Duke, he had 3 lefties. So
yeah, who was the third? I know Zion.
Yeah, well, isn't Reddish lefty? Or am I crazy?
No.
Are you serious?
Cameron Reddish is a righty.
I was completely
I have no idea
convinced.
what hand Cameron Reddish is. I'm kidding. He is a righty.
Dude, I was one. Is Trey Jones lefty then? Because I'm not just making stuff up.
I'm not. I want to say Trey Jones is a righty also, but I actually don't know what hand Trey Jones.
Well, I don't trust
Nick. I know that.
I can't trust my mind anymore.
You have a computer.
I do have a computer, but we also have some comments here.
We got Charlie Nix back here putting the fire. Adden, what's up, bro? Valhalla Cannabis King, Rod Strickland, anybody? Dude, Rod Strickland rocks. Also, let's get how about you give me like a free thing or whatever.
A thing, yeah.
Kenny Skywalker over everyone. Dude went to the archives for these. So we got Randall is going to the Lakers. Timberwolves don't have the money to pay him. Yeah, the Timberwolves, they don't want to go into the second apron because they have a weird ownership thing going on right now. Essentially, there's beef between these owners where we're like, no one wants to pay the luxury tax. It's like halfway through a sale of the majority where Alex Rodriguez and some other guy, yes, the Alex Rodriguez from the Yankees, and some other guy like who I don't know, like A-Rod's a businessman. He has a company called A-Rod Corp. And he has like multiple investments, stuff like that. Invested in the Timberwolves, wants to buy them. He has a business partner who he's trying to buy them with. But they are a lot less rich than the owners of the Timberwolves now. And they're like, hey, you guys are essentially buying the team. You guys got to pay the luxury tax. And they're like, hey, we don't own the majority yet. We're not going to pay the luxury tax. We're not going to do that. Sorry, I just heard something in the background. I was worried. But yeah, it's a weird situation. Marcel used to call Raptors games until they started tanking and then became a Mavs fan. So I'm not out here to give out Marcel's information, but Marcel's not a new Mavs fan. I think you could do the math on why that is. And Marcel's been a Mavericks fan. And yes, he was. He did live streams on Mavericks Digest. He did the watch along, something Knicks Digest is going to have. Matt, you'll be on some. Me and Darielle are going to do some. We're going to have some fun here. Sometimes I'm not going to be on them because, frankly, if the game starts at 10 p.m., I'm not staying up till 1 to talk on a live stream for 3 hours. Don't see myself doing that.
Yeah. Well, so Chris, a center you've been talking a lot. You've been talking so much about Nick Richards recently. Do you think with Cat, you still want him?
Yeah, I think with the way Towns can shoot, it gives him versatility to play those two positions, whether it's the power forward, whether it's the center spot. And I think it opens up Nick Richards, someone who's a phenomenal offensive rebounder, someone who is a great rim protector as it is, and he's going to become a much better rim protector if the Knicks acquired him, because when you look at how the Knicks have been able to develop big men, you see a guy like Nick Richards who's so good at putting the ball back in from getting offensive rebounds. I mean, 9.7 points per game and 8 rebounds per game with over a block shot per game. I want to say it's 1.1 block shots per game. Nick Richards was not a full-time starter last season because they have Mark Williams, but Mark Williams spent some time with an injury. And because of that, Nick Richards started half the games around as an estimate. I couldn't tell you the exact amount, obviously. But he did put up 9.7 points and 8 rebounds per game with, I want to say, 1.1 block shots off the bench. That is phenomenal numbers. It's something that the Knicks coaching staff can work with, make him that rim protector they want. Almost said Mark Williams. Nick Richards is not initially from America, but when he moved to America, he did move to New York, so he's a New Yorker by transit. And essentially, he's the type of guy who I would love to have on this team because I think he could work off the bench or as a starter for the Knicks. It gives them flexibility to build their own guy, find a guy who's probably going to end up being cheaper than Mitchell Robinson on contracts if they still want to move Mitch, which it appears the Knicks are interested in moving Mitch, in case you guys haven't been on since the beginning. I haven't mentioned, obviously, this is titled about a Mitchell Robinson trade rumor and how it's increasing. Pelicans, Lakers, Grizzlies, all interested in Mitchell Robinson. They all want to go out and try to acquire the man. The Grizzlies are certainly worried about the fact that Zach Edey could not pan out. There's always a world where rookies don't pan out. I mean, Matt, we've talked about this off camera, not because this is only your second time ever on Knicks Digest, but we've talked off camera so much how the draft is literally you're picking out of a hat. Like, yes, teams can tell, and there's a reason why there's some teams that don't miss, and some teams that miss every time. Take the bad Knicks regime. Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, back-to-back drafts. They didn't know how to draft. They didn't know how to develop. Take the Oklahoma City Thunder, stealing away Jalen Williams at a late pick. Cason Wallace becoming who he's becoming. They're going to do the same with Nikola Topic. Getting Shea through that trade and developing him, even though Shea already showed a lot of signs of promise after that playoff series against the Warriors. We've seen the Thunder go out picking Chet Holmgren. Like, some teams are good at drafting, some teams are not. Some teams that are usually good at drafting are also good at developing players because they understand who they want to draft and they want to develop them. Other teams, they're not as good at it. We've seen that.
Yeah, so first of all, I can't give Oklahoma City too much credit for drafting Chet Holmgren because I would have done the same thing. But those other picks you're mentioning, definitely great moves. And the player development in basketball is so much more important than it is in a lot of other sports because you get these guys in at sometimes even 17, 18, 19 years old, and they're so young. So I'm going to say it, Chris, you got to have a plan to develop them. And then you got to be able to easily execute that plan. And that's why some franchises like the San Antonio Spurs, when they bring in a top recruit, I call them a recruit, a top prospect.
Yeah, sure.
They pan out because they know what they're doing with them. They put a good organization around them. They coach them well, and they treat them well off the court as well as on the court, and that leads to them having more successful careers. Other than, do you think the Knicks should have done something differently with Ntilikina and Knox, or do you think they just weren't good enough to start?
I think Frank was just very timid throughout his career. If he had a better development, he could have made it work. I think what Kevin Knox's problem was, and I had this problem when they drafted him, what we saw in college was a guy who was very athletic, but also there's a difference between being an elite athlete in college and an elite athlete in the pros. Kevin Knox did not have that amount of athleticism to bank on going into the pros, even though he looked great in Summer League. But again, Summer League's different from the NBA.
But you know what he did have. Do you remember what Kevin Knox did have? Look at me right now. The Fortnite draft suit. You remember that one?
Oh, my goodness. Charlie Nix is still worried about our bench. I'm not that worried, personally.
I mean, if we get hit with the injury bug again, then it could be a problem. But
I agree.
Right now, looking at our guards, I love our point guard so much. Deuce, Jalen, and Kolek, love all three of them.
Great position.
And yeah. Just
Go.
No. I was going to say, I feel like we could be a little bit light at forward as well because I love Precious, but he's going to be running at center too.
Yeah, so. I mean, definitely the Knicks are going to have to figure that one out, and I think that'll be something that comes in season. But, Mikhail's going to run with the bench unit a lot as the premier shot creator for that bench unit. We're going to see Josh Hart or Deuce McBride off the bench. Both of them are great players. Cameron Payne is underrated, someone who's also on the Knicks. Tyler Kolek has a lot of potential to be good this season. Landry Shamet, good scorer, good shooter. Didn't shoot that well on the Wizards, only shooting 33% from deep. But he's a good shooter in the corner. The Wizards are a terrible team. They're a terrible franchise. They are getting better. Their management, the new regime is good for the Wizards. So don't fully sleep on the Wizards for the future. Sleep on them this season, but for the future, do not sleep on the Washington Wizards. They're going to get a lot better. They have a good front office now. But you look at this team and you're like, okay, there's certainly some problems with this bench unit. There's not too much scoring off the bench. You're banking on Deuce improving as a scorer. You're banking on Mikhail, and Tibbs working that out where Mikhail can run with the bench unit a lot. Because Mikhail's a good shot creator to the point where he's great against other bench units. He just can't be the primary shot creator on the team. But the Brooklyn Nets are a stupid, dumb franchise. I really only added that just to that last part just to
I'm well aware why you added it. But the Nets have not made good decisions recently. So you're completely warranted in saying that comment, even if mournful Nets fan wasn't here.
As Big Oso mentions, they're light in the power forward center position, and I do think that's why the Knicks are going to bring in Ariel Hukporti from the two-way contract. The Knicks can afford one non-guaranteed contract to go onto their team, and it's going to be Landry Shamet. That's confirmed. That's 13 guys on the roster. The Knicks have 12 guys guaranteed roster spots right now. They're very close to that second apron, so they can only bring on one veteran who is on a non-guaranteed deal. It's going to be Landry Shamet. After Shamet, it's going to be one of Kevin McClure Jr. or Ariel Hukporti. The Knicks need they need that bigger spot more than they do anything else. And if the Knicks do that, you can trade Precious for Nick Richards, like someone mentioned in the comments. I forget who said it. But we got a comment saying trade Precious for Nick Richards. Legally works financially. The Knicks just made that move, trading DeQuan Jeffries, Dwayne Washington, and Charlie Brown to the Charlotte Hornets to make the deal work to get Karl Anthony Towns. So the Knicks, they've had a rapport with the Hornets front office already. You go out there, you trade Precious for Nick Richards. It makes Mitch expendable. You then go out there, you trade Mitch for a guy who could score off the bench.
Yeah, Chris, do you think there's so we have a bet, me and you. In one of your videos, you said I'll bet anyone $5 that Ryan Arcidiacono, that's that right?
Arcidiacono, yeah.
Good enough, is going to be on the Knicks roster come opening night. Do you still believe that, or do you think you're going to lose this bet with me?
Absolutely, he will not be. The Knicks can afford him. They cannot afford him.
Okay. I got another guy for you. Another guy that we talked about, Knicks fans. He's been around the organization for a while. He's probably coming here as a coach. Taj Gibson. No chance?
Taj Gibson's on the Charlotte Hornets right now, so no.
Yeah, but you think the Charlotte Hornets, you think they are going to be playing him?
Well, he's going to be on the roster, so Taj is a good veteran the teams like to have around. There's a reason the Pistons signed him after the Knicks waived him again. The Knicks signed and waived Taj, I think, 3 or 4 times last season, I should say. And then the Pistons brought him in because they wanted a veteran who could help these young guys out, who's been in the NBA for a while, who's been on good teams, been on bad teams. And Taj Gibson's a good guy for that. That's why the Hornets brought him in. They wanted a veteran leader. They wanted a guy who could mentor some younger guys, who could be there, show them what it's like to be an NBA player, show them what winning means, what a winning culture is, how to win games, how to react to losing games, stuff like that. It's always good to have a veteran in the room. It is a fear that the Knicks don't exactly have any veterans, but they're also not this young team that needs one. And I think I'm so used to the Knicks having this young, inexperienced team that I'm always like, well, where's the older veteran? But it's like you don't really need one on this team. Brunson's been around the block. Karl Anthony Towns has been around the block. You have guys who have been in the NBA long enough where they understand both sides of things.
Yeah, Chris, I was going to say, I'm going to go the other way with that. I'm glad that this Knicks team doesn't need that guy. Because being fans of the Jets and the Knicks, it always feels like we're usually a bad team that signs this big, fun player who used to be good, like Derrick Rose for the Knicks. And that's always going to be the guy who everyone's like, oh, he might still be good, but he's past his prime. He's going to come in. He's going to help the team learn how to win. And then it's frustrating because they teach you how to win, but they can't make you play better. And the teams usually still don't pan out. So I think it's great that this team doesn't need that anymore. Now that Jalen Brunson, like you said, he's been around. Karl Anthony Towns been in the league since 2015. And they've been to pretty much each level of playoffs. They've played full regular seasons. Everyone's ready to go. They're ready for this season.
Guys, now, one thing to mention is there's a reason why Matt is not fully on Knicks Digest. He's doing Jets. But Matt, I do want to tell you that the most Knicks of old signing a fun player who used to be good or bringing in a player who used to be
Don't say Joakim Noah. Don't say it.
Way crazier. I don't even know if you know he's a Knick. I think you do. Tracy McGrady, New York Knick.
I did not know Tracy McGrady was a Knick.
Remember when the Knicks didn't draft Steph Curry because they were one pick too short of getting him? Yep. The Knicks drafted Jordan Hill. It was pretty evident through half the season that Jordan Hill was not very good. So the Knicks traded him to the Houston Rockets in exchange for the ghost of Tracy McGrady, who in his first game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, T-Mac looked like prime Tracy McGrady, then never did again. Someone else who was on the Knicks, funnily enough, Anthony Penny Hardaway.
I did know that.
That one, yeah. So the Knicks have been doing that for very, very long amounts of time so they could sell tickets because that was when Dolan was involved. But Dolan's no longer involved, and the Knicks don't have to do this anymore. They don't have to go out there and get guys for name value purposes. They're going to make guys name values who weren't name values before they got to the Knicks, and that's what they've done.
That's what I love. It feels like Thibodeau's coaching schemes, he makes it so we can just put in a guy like Precious Achiuwa was just a throw-in in the OG Anunoby trade, but he turns them into guys that are very productive for the team. And I'd say it's like the San Francisco 49ers or like the Patriots when they would bring in guys and just whoever they would put in would just work. And you'd be like, how is this possible? And they're like, oh, such and such coach has done it again. He's found another steal. When they're not finding steals, the system is so good that it covers up for any weaknesses that the players might have. So that's why I love Tibbs. He brings guys in and they hustle so hard for him and they play so well. You got Hartenstein getting every rebound. When he's off the floor, Precious is grabbing rebounds. Mitch is obviously hustling, blocking shots, grabbing rebounds. And then when those guys, we had a bunch of injuries, when those guys maybe can't go, you also have Jericho Sims, who he needs to develop more, but he is also a guy who is learning to be that shot blocker, that rebound getter, and a guy that also can bring energy to the back half, the defense for the New York Knicks.
All right, I have to give a massive shout out to Charlie Nix right now, who just gave the reminder that only 23% of people who watch this are subscribed and 70% watching are not. So 77% are not. So yes, guys, make sure to subscribe if you're liking this content. But also, Charlie Nix, you did ask the question, was MJ the owner or coach of the Wizards? Either way, what the hell? Back in the day, MJ bought the Wizards because he had a ton of money and the Wizards were really cheap. He buys them. They're really bad. He gets upset, plays for them, ruins Jerry Stackhouse's time with the Wizards, does absolutely nothing with the Wizards, puts up one 50-point game in MSG because, well, he was still Michael Jordan after all. And, yeah, man. So, Matt, also, here's a fun little exercise that we're going to do. It's going to be called Matt Hosts the Channel because I have to pee really badly.
Oh, man. Well, Chris, I'm gonna do this thing called Matt answers questions from the chat. So, yeah, 76ers overpaid for PG-13. I'm a little bit worried about the Sixers with PG-13 if he's healthy in the playoffs. Embiid and PG, they haven't been able to be healthy. We saw it last season. Embiid was hobbled versus the Knicks. If he was fully healthy, that could have been a completely different series. Now, I know if I let the Sixers be fully healthy, I have to say the Knicks would be fully healthy too, and then the Knicks would be better. But still, it's a little bit scary. Vegas odds has the 76ers as the third best team in the East now. And I'm not concerned about PG-13 with the 76ers, but if they're probably not going to be healthy. That's what it is. Chris is going to have the same take. He does not trust them to be healthy at all. Let's see. What else we got here? Randall's no enforcer. He wasn't better than Towns. Randall's one of the biggest, by biggest, I mean, muscle, strongest guys in the NBA. He was always out physicaling guys because his bag, we called him dubious handles because he would kind of just dribble in and turtle, but Randall would be very athletic and would force his way through guys. So I can't agree with, Randall is definitely an enforcer. And when I say better than Towns, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns hasn't played defense in his career. He's been a bad defender, and Randall, while his effort is definitely inconsistent, when he tries, he's way better at defense than Karl Anthony Towns has been. Now, Karl Anthony Towns is going to be playing in Thibodeau's system again, and we're going to see if that defense improves. But when he was young playing for Tibbs, we know was pissed at him. They said it's water under the bridge now. Hopefully it's water under the bridge now. It's going to have to be because we're not talking about being friends. We're talking about winning basketball championships, and we're going to see how that works out.
So, Matt, we actually gained 10 viewers since you started hosting. So clearly,
yeah. Go back. And the people have said, go back, put a jersey on.
Dude, but yes, absolutely. I don't think the 76ers are going to stay healthy at all. I mean, look, Joel Embiid had a mangled knee. And
Chris, that jump shot broke. Knicks fan 13.
Oh, my God. You don't even want to know. Matt can tell you.
That was actually, Chris, that jump shot that you just showed off wasn't your real shot. You were just shooting for fun.
It looked way
Your real jump shot, what is it? Just explain the mix that you've created.
It's Joakim and Lonzo Ball.
Okay.
It's getting better, though, because I hurt my hand. So, I have to shoot more one-handed now, but it's still ugly. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I got a sick jumper now. No, my jump shot sucks, but it's gotten a lot better. But look, Randall was clearly worse than Cat. Randall was a disgrace in the 3-point contest. Cat won it. That doesn't mean anything, I will say, though. I do like the Knicks got a 3-level scorer, and here's a hot take. Karl Anthony Towns is the best 3-level scoring big man in basketball because of the way he shoots the 3-point shot. I understand Joel Embiid's a better scorer than Towns, but when it comes to scoring at all 3 levels, Towns is the best shooting big man on the planet. Great mid-range, great inside. It makes him the best 3-level scorer I almost said in the chat, in the NBA.
If Karl Anthony Towns was in the chat, that'd be pretty sick. But Randall, we're not saying that Randall's a better offensive player than Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns is potentially going to score more points than Julius Randle. That's only half the game of basketball. On the defensive side, Karl Anthony Towns, he has been soft in his career. I hope it changes because he's a Knick now. We want to root for him a lot, and we build our team on defense. But that's what the player's been in the past. He's not just going to be that player. He's not going to change just because he's on the Knicks. But Chris, did you see what Towns said to Shannon Sharp? Did you see that? I sent it to you on Instagram.
Yes. So Cat said he would, in some world, be willing to take a pay cut. It's important to note that did happen when Towns was on the Timberwolves. So
Yeah.
things have changed, but it's good to know. I mean, clearly Towns does want to win, which is a huge
But
part of this.
Chris, so he said if the other people around me are doing it. So he's around the guy who did it. He's around Jalen Brunson, the guy taking the biggest pay cut in the NBA. So if that's not, and Mikal Bridges is going to take a pay cut too. So Karl-Anthony Towns, I'm not saying it's more likely that he will, but he absolutely could follow suit by taking a massive pay cut for the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely think he can. And now, guess what? Because I realized why I couldn't do stuff with the chat on my phone. I was not signed into the Knicks Digest account, so shout out to Charlie Knicks. He's now the chat moderator, so it's the most trusted guy we have. We have another dude though, Knicks fan. Chris has Cam Payne's jump shot. Cameron Payne's a lefty. I'm a righty. Like I got that.
You shoot like you are neither.
Yeah, I shoot with 2 hands and 0 hands at the same time.
No, Chris, you shoot. You have 2 off hands.
Yeah, I shoot like it's the most hideous jump shot. But as I've said, it's gotten more one-handed because I hurt my left hand, so I can't shoot with my left hand anymore. I have to shoot righty, so I have to put my hand over the ball. To some degree, it's still a gross jump shot.
You got to turn into that Isaiah Hartenstein floater that I checked the stats and he never missed that all year. He never missed a single floater. He was like Sean Livingston.
Yeah. True. Sean Livingston was elite in the mid-range.
$1 million for $1 million.
Oh, my God. That dude was unreal in the mid-range on the Warriors. And as mentioned, where are we placing the Knicks this year? Realistically, what seed? I'm going to say 3. I think it's going to be Celtics. I think it's going to be the 76ers. Knicks. Orlando Magic.
Play the song.
Magic. The Bucks. The Cavs.
The Pacers are there. Over the Pacers?
The Heat. Who am I forgetting?
I mean, that looked like 8 teams to me. And there is a play-in now.
I'm trying to go to the play-in. I think the Raptors will be the 10th seed.
The Bulls and the Hawks are who you're forgetting. So where are you putting them?
Yes, and the Hawks.
Yeah.
I think the Hawks will be a 9
Hawks
seed,
are in the
maybe
play-in.
an 8 seed.
Play-in, no play-in for Chicago.
No, I think they'll find a way to trade. Zach LaVine.
Trade LaVine, yeah. I mean, LaVine's been a guy who's been floating around in Chicago circles for a while, and I am pretty glad he's not on the Knicks because I don't think his scoring is awesome, but it's not enough scoring to take on his defensive struggles.
Back in the day, there was a lot of Knicks fans who wanted LaVine traded for Randall.
I was gonna say that. I remember there was a lot of talks about Randall or about LaVine coming to the Knicks.
Charlie Knicks now has a wrench next to his name because he's a moderator.
Good.
We had to make
he's gonna fix your broke jump shot.
Damn. It's a hard knock life. It's a hard Nick life out here.
All right, Chris. Karl-Anthony Towns getting paid $40 million a year, right?
Way more than that.
Way more than that. Then why am I reading $40 million a year?
This season?
No, total for his contracts. All right, the question I'm getting at here is do you think he's overpaid? People in the comments are saying he's overpaid.
Look, he's overpaid, yes. But the Knicks now, every single of their core players, whether it's Brunson, whether it's OG Anunoby, whether it's Towns, whether it's soon to be Mikal Bridges, who's going to sign an extension soon, they're all going to be under contract till 2028. This gives this Knicks core, gives them 4 years as this core. A top 4 that's certainly good enough to be a championship top 4, especially with some depth. This team can win the finals. I don't even understand what would happen if the Knicks would win the finals. Like, I can't even comprehend what would happen. But, guys, here's the question.
Yeah.
Someone out on the Knicks Digest fan base is a huge Knicks Digest fan. Is a Knicks Digest fan and is really rich. So who's buying me tickets to the NBA Finals is the real question. But, yeah, Chicago's lottery.
Chris,
I agree. Yes.
Why not you? Why not you? Get that zillionaire grind set going.
I got to get that billionaire. I'll start watching.
No, not Tate. Billion, not billion. Zillion.
Word. Cat entering his prime.
Zillion.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Cat passing out of the double team is going to be important. There's only so many times you could double team Towns. Like, yes, when Mitch is on the floor, it's a little more. But also, Towns is going to stay in the perimeter more, and you're just going to have Mitch cleaning up the offensive glass, passing out to open shooters, open big men. Because the way that creates the most open threes in basketball, offensive rebounds and kickouts. Statistically, the most open threes come from when you get an offensive rebound and kick the ball out because teams collapse to grab the board. You're going to have one of the 4 guys sitting on the perimeter open. You really can't go wrong when those 4 guys spotting up are Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns. You have 2 guys. OG shoots 44.6% from 3 in the corner. Mikal Bridges shoots 40.1% in the corner. And that's when he was on a Nets team where he had to do way too much shot creation, which was making his percentages go down. You have Jalen Brunson, who the only thing he's better at than playing on-ball offense is playing off-ball offense. You have Karl Anthony Towns, the best shooting big man in basketball. This Knicks team is lethal. This is a lethal team. Like, this is the best team they've had in my lifetime.
No question is. First, I got to shout out Sports Illustrated for giving me that incorrect number because that $40 million, like, it's definitely like $55 million per year. I don't know why they would ever even write something like that. But
don't trust them.
This team, because Chris, you talked about on the last live stream, it gives the Knicks a higher ceiling and a lower floor, but that's okay because the ceiling had to be raised to win the finals.
I agree.
You can't, no risk, no reward. I know it's a cliche saying, but that's just where we are at this point, and it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. You got to make changes because what we were doing before wasn't good enough. It was very good, but it wasn't good enough. And now being the anti-Celtics, the Celtics are the number 1 team in the NBA, and it's not close. Like, there's no debate that's a different team. So the fact that we're the anti-Celtics is huge because we are definitely the team in the NBA with the highest chance of beating them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the Knicks match up the best with most teams. This team is a matchup nightmare for every team in basketball because you could run different things. The only team that kind of matches that is the Thunder, and the Thunder are still really undersized. Remember, Hartenstein's not some super big guy for big men. Like, he's 6'11", 7 feet tall, but he's thin. Embiid was running through him. Obviously, I'm upset that he didn't re-sign with the Knicks. Don't get me wrong, but it's also
we couldn't pay him enough.
It's also, Mournful Nets fan is DMing me now.
Dude.
Guys, make sure, if you guys are enjoying this live stream, make sure to slide into Matt's DMs and tell him your Knicks hot take.
I don't know how they were able to do that.
Guys,
Chris,
you guys see his name. Who's Russell Torres? Oh, it's a fake account. My friend thinks you're cute.
All right, Chris. So,
I don't need that.
Hartenstein, I know every Knicks fan wanted him to come back to the Knicks, but they're really, the way the money worked out, there's no chance he could come back because the Thunder were able to offer him like 3 times as much money. So he had to take it. I'm not even exaggerating with that number because
it was double, but yes,
he had to take
per year double.
Yeah,
for 2 years plus a team option on the 3rd year. So if nothing else, he gets to hit free agency in 2 years after playing on a winning team. He's going to get paid again. The Thunder set him up for success. It was a win-win.
Speaking of a winning team, that Thunder team is going to be a problem in 2 years.
They look great. I think Shea's going to get better and probably win MVP in the next few years. Also, shout out to Knicks 100 a game. He's like, what's this? Chris getting jiggy with it with that 235 viewers right now. Guys, if you're watching this video and you like what you see, make sure to subscribe. Not only are we going to continue, and I'm not saying this is over. It's not over yet. But not only are we going to continue to have my guy Matt on the Knicks Digest Happy Hour, we are going to get a few other people on here, such as Mavericks Digest creator Marcel Martin. We're going to get Bryson Atkins from Thunder Digest. Him and I, we love to yell at each other about our teams and just be haters to each other. We're going to get Bruce Velez from Celtics Digest. And obviously, the one man I haven't mentioned, the legend himself, Dariel Concha, will be on one ASAP. We're trying to get Dariel on here. Our time frames just don't always align, but massive shout out to Dariel for being the man.
Well, also Dariel Hakporti has a preseason game tomorrow. So
True. But Dariel also bought me a Bud Light one time, so Dariel's cooler than you. Even though you bought me handfuls of drinks.
I was gonna say I had to buy way more than one.
No, I know. For people who don't know, Matt and I also do run Jets Digest, and he is my college roommate, so hence the chemistry here. No milking this time. Oh, he fancy, huh? Knicks better right now with Cat. I think the Knicks are better. Now, this person also has the flag in their bio, so I understand why they say that because, representing from the home country. Goofy, SMH Goofy talking here. Randall fit very well when he was playing with... No, I agree Randall fit well. I just think Cat fits even better. Like, it has nothing to do with Julius Randle. It has everything to do with Karl Anthony Towns. All right, guys, and real quick, for a few seconds, we are going to be back with just me, as Matt has disappeared once again. But he'll be right back. We're going to be right back. See, you guys can even see me doing it now. It's 2 Chris's. It's real cool. Guys, this is what we needed. We needed multiple versions of me. In all seriousness, guys... But yeah, guys, now let's talk about Matt and talk behind his back. Like, who likes that guy? What a loser. No, but guys, give me some hot takes. We're gonna be on here for another 20-ish minutes, I'd say. So give me some hot takes. Let me know, what do you guys think about the New York Knicks right now? I am really excited about this season. I think the Knicks are gonna have the best season they've had in a very long time. I feel like it's hard to imagine them not making the conference finals if they're healthy, and I'm really, really excited for it. Like, trade Cat for Walker Kessler and now Mook and Randall Knicks, y'all would have won the championship. Well, Marcus Morris could not. He could not re-sign due to financial situations here, and Matt is back, guys, the man himself, guys. But let's answer some comments. Let's talk. Mournful Nets fan, why is your comment retracted? Yo, Charlie, real quick, in case you are retracting Mournful Nets comments, let him troll. That he's the bro. But he's the only one who's allowed to troll. Anyone else, you go off. Chris, should Mitch stay with this Knicks team? Why or why not? That is the best question that's been asked today with that question, because especially this is what this video is about, or this live stream is about. Look, I think that Mitchell Robinson should stay on the Knicks. I'll be honest, I think he should, because I'm biased towards Mitchell Robinson. I think the idea of creating those open threes off of offensive rebounds and the fact that he is one of the best defenders in the NBA is something that's really unsung. And the Knicks are not going to find production as good as him, even if they trade Mitch for scoring off the bench, then trade Precious for Nick Richards. It's not going to be the same as Mitch. Now, here's the thing. I've talked myself into this situation where the Knicks can trade Mitchell Robinson and get some wing, some forward scorer off the bench to kind of lead some bench scoring with Mikal Bridges. Matt, I do want to hear your opinion on this. Let's say best case scenario for my mind is the Knicks trade Precious for Nick Richards and they trade Mitch for a guy who could score off the bench, who's a wing or a forward. It's tough to say what's better. It's tough to say.
That the second scenario definitely sounds like a win to me, but they say you're injury prone until you're not. So Mitchell Robinson could come back in January, we think.
January.
January?
December.
Yeah,
December
so he comes back in January. Hopefully, we could definitely be good enough. We're locked for the playoffs with or without him. So we'll get him back in January. He's gonna do what he can do in January, and we really can't. I know he's been injury prone his whole career, but there are plenty of players in other sports as well as the NBA who are injury prone, and then at some point in their career they just stop getting hurt, and they just stay healthy because even though Mitchell Robinson feels like he's always injured, it's not normal. Like, being healthy is the normal spot for him. And he didn't get to the NBA by being hurt all the time. So I know it feels like he's going to be injured all the time, but we don't know that for a fact. Even with that being said, Chris, I would rather trade him for a player who can help us the whole year. Nick Richards, I would love. I love Precious Achiuwa. I know he's a tradable contract, and it makes a ton of sense for him to go in the deal. But Precious Achiuwa is a guy, I love his mentality. I love his effort. I think he's the perfect, glue fix at forward or center should we need it. I would prefer to hang on to him and just trade Mitchell Robinson and picks. But if he's got to go in the trade for a 5 who can start for the whole year and move Karl Anthony Towns to the 4, then that's what it's got to be.
I'm interested in seeing this lineup, as mentioned by Steven Torres. The thought of having that lineup of Brunson, Mikal, OG, Towns, and Mitch, it fits together, but that is the most influx of talent this Knicks lineup can potentially find. When you get a lineup that good, like, there's not one thing they're lacking. They have phenomenal rebounding between Towns and Mitch, and also OG's a good rebounder. You have awesome shooting between Brunson, Towns, OG, and Mikal. You have phenomenal defenses. You have a guy who came in second for Defensive Player of the Year voting in McHale. You have OG Anunoby, who's a better defender than McHale. You have Mitchell Robinson, who's one of the best rim protectors in basketball with sneaky good perimeter defense. There's a reason why Mitch averaged I think he averaged 1.5 steals per game this year. Mitch does not let you pass the ball into the pocket of a posting up man. He has that down perfectly. The defense of Mitchell Robinson has gotten so much better, and people think it's getting worse because he's not getting those cool shot blocks anymore. It's just because he got older and he gained weight in a good way. I'm not saying he got fat. I'm saying he literally, everyone was freaking out. Yeah, he just got bigger. Like, his shoulders got wider.
He's a big guy. He's a broad shoulders. He's a huge guy.
There's a reason why Joel Embiid couldn't body Mitch up and why the Knicks were more successful with Mitchell Robinson on the floor. And everyone's like, oh my God, Mitch is fat. Look at him compared to his 2018 photo shoot on Media Day. Look, newsflash to if any of you guys are around 18, 19 years old right now, your face gets thicker. It's not the end of the world that this happened to Mitch.
Yeah, Chris, that's what beer does to your face. I'm not like you, like talking about two people's faces, but
I believe Mitch prefers
Oh, why do you think that? Why
I watched the Roommates podcast and I saw Mitch's interview where he's like, yeah, man. Okay.
saw the same.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on Knicks Digest, so we're gonna go around the subject a little bit, so you know what I'm talking about already. I actually can totally just say it, but essentially, there's this interview of R.J. Barrett on J.J. Redick's podcast, The Old Man, the Three, and R.J. Barrett was inhaling the peace plant before.
Yep. Probably 2 minutes before that thing started.
He called Adam Silver Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I remember, dude. First of all, that was so funny. When you talked about Mitch, that was exactly the first place where my mind went. RJ. And that was so funny because RJ, you could tell he's probably a cool dude to do that with.
RJ and Zion were definitely being cool dudes in their dorm room when they were roommates. They're definitely ordering a lot of Uber Eats.
Cool dudes.
We're just gonna call it being cool dudes when you're, and adults will understand. Anyone who's an adult on this channel and above 15 years old will probably get what we're talking about, and that's fine. Like, it is what it is. I was a cool dude since I was 16. So I cannot keep saying this. I am so sorry. Mitch is a remade Greg Oden. No, he's not. Mitch has been healthy for half his career. Greg Oden wasn't ever healthy. We have the best big man shooter with handles, agility, and he's 7 feet tall. We need Mitch. We don't trade Mitch. We don't need Mitch. Trade him. 718 Fresh, you're not a Knicks fan. That makes me think that we should keep Mitch from the outside. Someone's hate on Brunson. Love him now. Watch Cat work. I just think Towns fits perfectly on this team. I think just looking at the team, they fit so well together as a unit entirely. Like, it's definitely a trade that helps their fit, and that's the same thing as OG, which is why I trust the front office with this.
Yeah, Chris, every move they made from overpaying, look at me here, overpaying Jalen Brunson to trading away two of our favorite players for OG Anunoby, and now trading away two other fan favorites for another player that maybe the whole fan base wasn't sold on. We've grown accustomed to this front office making really good moves, as shown by signing Charlie Brown and the other guys who we sent to Charlotte to those deals in expectation of a move like this. So Leon Rose, he's knocked it out of the park for the last 3 years. So we gotta I know we don't like Joel Embiid, but we gotta trust the process a little bit on this one, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a situation where looking at the Knicks, they got better. They did. And everything Leon Rose has done has worked out. The only thing you can knock him for is the drafting of Obi Toppin. And I get it. I understand the hate. But it's a time and a place. Like, Obi was drafted because the Knicks thought they were going to trade Julius. Then Julius breaks out and has this season he has. And that changed everything.
Yeah, Chris, I always say Julius Randle being good at the time where he started being good messed up all the Knicks' future plans because they thought they were going to tank. Yeah. But then Julius Randle was so good that they couldn't do that anymore.
No, Julius
are you mad at all that I told you?
It's also crazy that happened because with Julius specifically, like, and just with Knicks fans, it's like we'd been so long in this drought without the playoffs that making this deal just turned into this beautiful storm of everything that's happened. It led to the Brunson signing. It led to basically all these good things happening to the New York Knicks, and it's like, it's crazy how things work out. That this initially felt like it was going to be a problem that Julius played so well that it set them backwards, and instead Leon was able to take those cards and
Or
hire him
when he joined the Knicks.
a
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
few weeks before Jalen signed.
No.
No, it was a few weeks before Jalen signed.
Hey. All right.
So yeah.
Yeah, dude, the double Brunson duo.
The
Now,
double
I mean, dude,
chocolate cookie.
whoa, whoa.
You don't know what that is, dude? The Costco.
I know what
guy?
it is. Deuce definitely won't start unless Brunson or McHale is off.
I
I mean,
disagree.
Chris, yeah.
I disagree. I think the team fits better with Deuce as a starter because he's a 40% shooter from three, and I think it just gives you such a lethal 5-out where you can't even double. Because there's a world where teams are going to see Josh Hart and be willing to let him shoot threes based off the fact that he is an inconsistent shooter. In the playoffs, he was phenomenal, so maybe that shooting is just going to sit there. Josh shot over 40% for three for a season before, so there's always a world where Josh can just come back and do that again. But it is something that's very interesting to consider. I think the Knicks are going to go with the shooting, knowing that Deuce McBride is also, like Josh, a phenomenal perimeter defender. And it means you just got elite perimeter defense outside of Brunson and Cat that can make up for when teams are obviously going to try to attack Brunson and Cat on pick and rolls, which is the biggest fear about the defense. But OG Anunoby is one of the best help defenders in basketball. The Knicks are going to be able to figure that out. I genuinely trust them, and I trust Tibbs.
I mean, Tibbs was able to completely scheme out, or maybe not completely, but mostly scheme out Jalen Brunson's defensive shortcomings. So maybe scheming out two of the five on the floor, their shortcomings is going to be tougher. But we, like we said before, we have no reason. This team, we've been shown that the coach has been coaching everyone well. The front office has been making the right moves. So I don't have a good enough reason to say this move isn't going to work, Chris. So I have to be excited for it.
That's a fact. And also, this live stream just ended, so I don't know why, but it just ended. So, out of nowhere.
Dude, mine was kind of lagging heavy.
So is mine. So, I'm just going to say that's it for us, and we're going to call it here, because I was going to call it in 5 minutes anyway.
Yeah, I was like, my back is killing me. But did you see we were at 295 at one point?
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, wow. That 290. Dude, you were like getting geeked over the numbers. I was like trying to bring you back there. So I was like, we had to pretend like it was an